A very Merry Christmas from our family to yours. RC looking good and ready to go. How about my man's over here?
Hey, my man's went and spent all the head coaching money on his Christmas outfit.
My wife Karen, she's put it all out there. All $8 for that tie.
Let's do this thing. Oh, did we have an unbelievable game yesterday afternoon in South Florida, living up to the hype and then some. The quarterback's ready to go. There's Tua getting fired up. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Here we go. Early first quarter. Jeff, how does Tony Pollard not score?
Every part of his body except the part that counts, which is the ball, gets in the end zone. You got to put your foot in the ground, get behind your pads, and score that touchdown.
And why does it matter? Because on the very next play, RC.
This is the fourth time Hunter Lipke touched the football on this drive. Jeff said it earlier on the call. The closer you get to the goal, the more important that ball is, and a little tighter that butt top. You could have turned the game off right then. You knew they were going to lose when they gave those 7 points away. But in the meantime, here comes CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was great from the slot. I thought Jalen Ramsey would follow him. This is a huge play, run after the catch, and this set the tone for the Dallas Cowboys for the rest of the day. Lamb's 7th straight game with a touchdown. Final seconds of the second quarter, Jeff, and there's Mostert.
Great design. Mostert coming out in the flats, wide open, dumps it off to him, walk-in touchdown.
Leads the NFL with 21 touchdowns on the year. Now, fourth quarter, 10 minutes to play. Cowboys down by 6. It's CD again. CeeDee Lamb again. He's matched up. You get a motion to the outside, so now he's on the third or the fourth defensive back. Great throw by Dak Prescott. 4th and 2, gotta have it.
Players, not plays. Go find your best player, hook him up, put the ball in his hands. Get one. What a drive this was for Dak Prescott. And here's the best play, his play of the day. This is unbelievable. He got this man draped on him, stays in the like in the Ben Roethlisberger back in the day, that big body still making that completion. Great play by Dak. This was a 71-play drive. It wasn't actually, but it felt like a 4th and goal. Here's your ball game, RC. We're going to get a flag. Listen, this is actually the second DPI in a row on Deshaun Elliott. Now they finally call it. Turpin with a great whip route. This is the touchdown. If he doesn't do this, I would have done the exact same thing, but it gives the Cowboys more chances. So then we had a sack. Now we got a third down. This is the 17th play of the drive. This is a great play. We have bad eyes by Jalen Ramsey. Brandon Cooks, who was brought in to be a deep threat, has shown he can be absolutely more. Goes up, high points the ball, but what a dime and a drive by Dak Prescott. That was his MVP resume reel it was for Dak, but then he needed his defense to close the deal, and they couldn't do it. Tua, Achane plus the foul. Listen, when you look at what Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel did on this drive, they went to the screen game. Damone Clark with an obvious face mask. They get the 15 yards, but it showed that Mike McDaniel knew how to dial up the exactly right thing in the right moment. Here's third down, and that's Tyreek Hill. Again, players not play. Get it to the best ball handler you have. Let him go complete this drive, extend the plays, make it happen. Now here's the game. 1:42 to go. Cowboys have no timeouts. The Dolphins pick up that third down, and you'll see the reaction from Mike McCarthy. He knows exactly why, because now Miami can just let the clock tick down. Jason Sanders had made 3 kicks of 50 yards or better on the day. Good. That one, his 5th field goal of the day, and it ends it. Count them, baby. Is it a whole head? All the shoulders. All the fingers. Dolphins get the win. Cowboys, despair.
This is completely on everybody, one that sucks, but definitely took a step, I guess you can say, from obviously last week's game, getting some points, playing a hell of a team here on the road. It sucks. We hate to lose. Nobody's taking any more victories from this.
Number one, it was a juggernaut game. We got to play better than we did today because, you have to play above it on the road. And, road warriors we will be.
We'll explain a little later that very likely will be road warriors, very likely would have been whether they won yesterday or not. We'll get into the actual consequences of the game, but let's start with my favorite question. Was yesterday for the Cowboys a bad game or a bad sign?
Bad sign. Listen, when Dak Prescott takes this hour and a half long drive down, they take the lead. You have the lead. Your defense can't be any fresher. Fourth quarter, they can't be any fresher. It's time to close the game out. Micah Parsons, Armstrong, you name it. Go all the way across the board. Somebody's got to close this game out. Doesn't happen. Miami drives it all the way down. You saw it. Closes out on that 2-yard run to get it to be able to wind the whole thing down. They got to figure, when it's a must-have, They don't have it, and that's the problem.
Greeny, also, too, I want you to do the same thing you were doing for Josh Allen a few weeks ago. You were jumping around. You were doing memorandums. what's the word? Down barrel.
Yeah,
right?
barrel.
Everything you could possibly do to say that Josh Allen did all he could to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, that's what you should be doing for Dak Prescott. That drive was his MVP drive, as Jeff already said. And when you look at what Dak was able to do in that moment to put a team up that's supposed to be best defensively when they have a lead. This was supposed to be a team that was built like Jeff's old Colts, right? We're going to get up on teams and we're going to rush the passer and you will be suffocated. The Dallas Cowboys didn't do that. And to me, the most disappointing part of that drive is those last 2 runs, everybody in America knows that the Miami Dolphins are going to run the football. And the Dallas Cowboys couldn't stop it. That's a problem. When a team can impose their will on you the way that the Miami Dolphins did in that moment, that's an issue. That's an issue that lasts in the playoffs. That's an issue that doesn't allow you to be a road warrior. And the thing you take away from these 2 games is offensively, you did everything that you were supposed to do. You found a way to get right after a loss. Defensively, you did not. And so going into the next week, going into the playoffs, there are still question marks about this team. And truly, they're the same old Dallas Cowboys. We spent the entire offseason talking about how they'd be different, that they'd be a physical run team, that they'd be a team on defense that could get stops when it mattered. No, they're not. They're a team that camouflages that at home by blowing out teams they can bully. But so far on the road against good football teams, we haven't seen them come through.
I agree with you completely. Let's focus in more on that defense and not getting that stop. Rex is usually with us on Mondays, and he would be losing his mind today. You want to say you're a great defense? Well, those aren't the 85 Bears. Rex would say that for sure. One stop. One play. Aaron Andrews is talking about DeMarcus Lawrence came out like, with his head on fire. And you could see the intensity on their faces. They need to make one play to win the game, and they can't do it.
So you needed to make one play. Eric, I don't know if we have the tape of the Tyreek Hill play.
We have it.
But if you look at early on in this game, right, we were looking at playing zone because they didn't want to take the top off of the defense. And so we saw Tyreek Hill in cover 2. He's able to find a spot. We saw Tyreek Hill. He was in quarters, and he got a spot. So here, right, you're going to see early on in the game. This is not what the Dallas Cowboys do. They're going to play a cover 2 defense, so they're sitting in too high. They're going to allow Tyreek Hill to get an intermediate route. Why? Because at this point of the game, we understand it's about keeping the top on the defense. You're going to see later on in the game, they're going to go to a quarters coverage. Tyreek Hill is going to sit it down in between Deron Bland and also in between Wilson. Why is he doing this? Donovan Wilson is going to be inside. Tyreek Hill is going to find a way to get there and make a catch. What happens when it's crucial time, right? What happens when it's a critical football moment? You go to man. So right now, Tua Tagovailoa is telling Tyreek Hill, I need you to move. I need you to get in motion. And as he gets in motion, let's watch Jordan Lewis come with him. Jeff knows this signifies man-to-man. The first thing you're going to think is sprint out. So when he's thinking sprint out, now you're going to think Jordan Lewis, I need to get over the top of Stephon Gilmore. Now we have a cluster fluff right here, which is going to allow Cotton to get out, seal Jordan Lewis, and Tyreek Hill gets inside for the first down. Mike McDaniel understood that no matter what they decided to do the entire day defensively, that when it mattered most, the Dallas Cowboys will revert back to who they were, and he put a play with a motion and a finish that could take advantage of that.
That is so well done, and quite a risque choice of words there, but you made it work.
I got nervous for you. I got nervous for you.
But so, again, at the bottom line of it is this, and the explanation is outstanding, and whether they're getting a little bit fooled, and maybe that goes to Mike McDaniel being just an outstanding offensive mind, all the rest of that. Someone just needs to make one play. This is supposed to be a team that is led by its defense. It's supposed to have Micah Parsons, who's the most dominating individual defensive player in the sport. Why can't they make the one play?
That's the question they're asking themselves this morning, right? Because if you look at it, you talk about my old teams, right? When you got the lead, you pinned your ears back. They got 5 who can do it, not just 2. They got 5 dudes who can go rush the passer, right? But for some reason, when it's time to close out, they aren't to be found. And whether it's 3rd and 2 to this Hill, when he goes man to man, it's the easiest block in the business, right? The lineman's going to go up, chip a guy, they're going to go get the first down. But the conversions that they're getting to extend drives, depletes this defense. And you saw as that drive was going on, you saw them beginning to look at each other. Man, who's going to be the guy to make plays? Who is going to be the guy? And that has to be the question, right? When you don't know who the guy that's going to answer it, everybody looks to someone else to make the play, and nobody's stepping up and doing it.
And the other thing is this, too. Look at what the Miami Dolphins did. They didn't drop Tua Tagovailoa back.
No.
They got the football out of his hands.
Yeah.
They made the Dallas Cowboys become pursuers, not attackers.
That's right.
They made them react. And so that's Mike McDaniel understanding what he's facing in Dan Quinn's defense. We saw them close out against the Seattle Seahawks, but that was also a game that had to score 30-plus points in order to be in at home. Dak Prescott does the exact same thing for you. We've asked Dak Prescott to become a difference maker.
Yeah.
And we watched him last week be under siege by the Buffalo Bills. He did what he was supposed to do in this game. And so now his defense, who with Michael Parsons, who the entire year has been applauding Dak's effort, has been saying that Dak's an MVP. But now we need to see who is truly the most talented person on this team make a play.
Yeah.
And his coach has to put him in position to do this. And so now when you do look at the Dallas Cowboy resume, here is the thought. When it gets tight on the road, when somebody has to make a play, who is it going to be? Because right now, we have no evidence that defensively they have that person.
And let me say this about Dak's performance, right? Because and I know you're making fun about what you said about Josh Allen a few weeks ago, and he's carrying this team. Think about the plays that he makes in that final drive. Guys draped on him, still putting the ball out there, still making play after play, getting, causing penalties because of plays they're calling. And then when you flip it, if you walk off the field with that lead and you're Dak Prescott in that defense, you're thinking, chalk this one up.
Yes.
We got it. We're moving on, right? We're moving on. We've done what we need to do. And then you watch your defense go down. And by the way, this isn't they got scored on. They took you down to 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So they ate up all the
Dán những cái hạt trân châu nhỏ nha các bạn. Đây, thôi mình dán thêm một cái lên chân châu nữa đi. Dán xuống bên dưới này. Đây, như vậy là các bạn sẽ thấy là mình sẽ có cái phần cốc trà sữa ở bên trên màu vàng như này và có những cái hạt trân châu màu đen ở bên dưới như này rồi nhé. Bước tiếp theo là mình sẽ đi trang trí, đúng không? Trang trí cái gương mặt chú ếch lên bên trên cái cốc trà sữa này. Thì các bạn sẽ để cái phần màu xanh ở đây và các bạn sẽ vẽ cái hình chú ếch lên bên trên này để trang trí thêm cho cái cốc trà sữa này nhé. Bây giờ mình sẽ đặt cái phần màu xanh ở đây để mình sẽ ước lượng cái phần mà mình sẽ vẽ cái chú ếch này. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ vẽ nha. Đây các bạn sẽ vẽ cái chú ếch như này. Đây sẽ là cái chân này. Bên này mình cũng sẽ có cái phần chân này. Rồi sau khi có phần chân rồi thì bây giờ mình sẽ vẽ cái phần thân. Cong lên đây một chút để làm cái phần thân này. Cong lên đây. Rồi sau đó bây giờ mình sẽ vẽ cái mắt, hai cái mắt lồi nhé. Hai cái mắt của chú ếch này. Vẽ nó to ra một tí này. Rồi vòng ra đây là cái phần đầu này. Tiếp theo bên này cũng có cái mắt nó rất là to này. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ đi và mình sẽ cắt cái phần gương mặt của chú ếch này ra nhé. Đây là cái phần chân nhé các bạn. Chân này. Tiếp theo là cái phần mắt này. Hai cái mắt rất là to. Đây, tiếp theo cắt sang đây. Cắt xuống dưới này. Tiếp theo đây là cái phần thân này. Cuối cùng là cái chân. Đây, thì các bạn sẽ thấy là đây là cái chú ếch của mình đúng không? Nó sẽ chưa hoàn chỉnh lắm bởi vì nó sẽ chưa có mặt, chưa có gương mặt thì khi các bạn nhìn thì các bạn sẽ chưa hình dung ra được đúng không? Bây giờ mình sẽ đi làm cái gương mặt cho chú ếch này nhé. Thì mình sẽ cắt cái phần hai cái hình tròn màu đen để làm cái phần mắt này. Mình sẽ cắt hai cái hình tròn màu đen như này nhé. Mình sẽ dán vào đây để làm cái phần mắt nhé. Cắt bé hơn một tí nữa đi. Mắt này đang hơi to rồi. Đây sẽ là cái phần mắt này. Dán keo vào đây. Mắt này. Tiếp tục cái mắt bên phải này. Rồi, sau khi mà đã có cái phần mắt rồi, bây giờ mình sẽ đi vẽ cái phần miệng nhé. Mình sẽ sử dụng một cái bút bi đen như này nhé các bạn, để mình sẽ vẽ cái